What's up, everybody? My name's Chris Marshall with my boy Frank G. We are the hosts of Build Your Empire podcast. Frank G, tell the people what we do.
What's going on, guys? Chris and I, we discuss established empires while we showcase us building ours.
Okay, so on this episode, we're going to take a 180. Typically on Thursdays, we dive into pre-established empires of entertainers, athletes, pop culture, businesses, entrepreneurs. But with the events that's currently happening and going on in the United States and really all over the world, I thought it would be our moment to use our platform to kind of discuss the current events, what's going around us.
Yeah, I think it's extremely important, regardless how big it is. I mean, you have a platform, someone who isn't hearing something from somewhere can easily hear from us. I mean, yeah, I agree. I think it's something we should definitely do. Times right now have been crazy in 2020. Um, a lot going on. The streets of, I guess, all over the United States are kind of going crazy.
There is protesting currently in all 50 states, and now I try to not get political. I hate talking politics. I have no views. In fact, I don't vote. I'll be the first to say that. I always felt like my vote doesn't matter due to the electoral college. But this is just obvious. This is, right versus wrong, right? And, what we witnessed a week ago that was captured on film and what's been in the recent papers over and time again, it's about time, I suppose, that we come together collectively, white and black, and speak up as a uniformed voice.
Yeah, it's certainly incredible, the amount of support, the amount of traction this has brought people together. I mean, I don't think this is the most Black Lives Matter traction has ever gained in, I think, a few day period. It's truly wonderful to see everyone get together. I know there's a lot of things behind what's going on. I mean, there's peaceful protests in the right way, then there's riots, obviously, some looting. I mean, you try not to mix those together because they could be completely different. But it is amazing to see everyone get together right now.
It certainly is. And, you know, I see a lot of it. And, I've always felt like I've connected with the African American culture throughout my entire life. I have friends, my good friend is, of course, black, right? And even when it comes to, I guess, police, cops, I've also seen that side where it's tough because my brother's a cops and also my best friend is also a cop. And I'm personally not even a fan of cops. So
Yeah, I know plenty of great cops as well out there.
of course, I mean, but I've been arrested and I felt like I was arrested because the cops just felt like they had dominance over me and they put me through the system. And I feel like the only reason I walked out of the system fine is because, in a way, it was white privilege and I had lawyers and I got out of it. And I see how one, people or cops could kind of be dicks to you, but I've never felt I've had to fear for my life in any circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, that is technically white privilege.
Of course.
Obviously, yeah, I mean, being arrested, I mean, you can easily fall into, I mean, the system. I don't know. I don't know how good the system is. Obviously, there's tons of mistakes out there. But yeah, I mean, I would say you getting through the system unscathed potentially is from white privilege. I mean, yes, you had lawyers, but yeah, I mean, we this is essentially what we're all fighting for right now, for us all to have that equal opportunity.
Which is amazing is in the past, you have not seen white people, Caucasian, come together as much as they are now. And
Mm-hmm.
that maybe is because, podcasts and social media is the new
Mm-hmm.
age media and everything's being filmed now. And it's very easy to or decipher what is right and what is wrong. And what we saw last week was brutality and murder, and it's
Certainly.
very obvious to see what's right and wrong.
Yeah, I mean, as many have said, I think even Will Smith, they said, it hasn't gotten worse. It's just finally being filmed. So now everyone is seeing it. Everyone is, it's in front of your face. And I think for it being a social media era, and I think there being, a lot of influencers, celebrities, I think it is no longer an easy route to stay quiet. It's almost, I mean, it's almost as if they've realized, or if the day and age now, if you have a platform or if you have a voice, it's almost your responsibility to make sure, the right message is, given to the people.
To speak up. And as
Yeah.
someone who has a foundation and principles to build a platform to have a voice, it then becomes contradicting
Hmm.
to be quiet in specific times, which is why I did not
Absolutely.
know what to say or more or less how to say it, because no matter what you say, it could be taken
Hmm.
completely differently. And deep down in my heart, I know what I mean. I know who I love,
Absolutely.
which is everyone. But somebody else may depict my words much differently.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, that is why on Build Your Empire, I mean, Chris and I, we have very similar opinions on this. We just aren't we feel like we aren't that equipped to get into crazy political debates, or we just stay away from them because we're not. If someone hits me with like a number, like a statistic, I'm not going to have like an answer for it or something like that. I mean, I'm just not that into it. But yes, all of the intent is with love. I mean, so this is obviously a political agendaed issue, but it's important to show the message of,
I don't
the
even
love.
see this as political. I'm not getting into politics. Again, I
Mm,
don't vote. I'm not going to talk about the president. I don't really give a fuck. All I give a fuck is that people all have equality and are treated fairly, because every single person is special and has some value to bring into this world. And everybody should have a voice and speak up without fear
hmm.
of someone else kind of dismantling them.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But, then now we have these people speaking up, and then you have people mixing in with them that are rioting and looting. I mean, I've had, not that I have been personally affected with my personal, you know, things, but the company I work for was looted in four of the buildings or five of them. So,
People are looting because they're not being heard. Now you can debate right and wrong with that, because there's asshole looters who,
there's people who aren't even involved. They're just coming by and looting. You're like,
correct,
oh,
just
yeah,
just like there's asshole cops.
yeah. And
There's
then
assholes everywhere.
yeah, so yeah, I mean, riots, as Dr. King said, Dr. Martin Luther King, riots are the voice of the people unheard. So yes,
So, sure, but he also said you don't fight hate with hate, only love can essentially
you can't drive
cure
out
it.
hate with hate. Yeah, yeah, only love. Can't drive out darkness with darkness. Only light can do that. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So then what is right and wrong? I mean, are the riots right? Because I mean, that means he's contradicted himself, I guess, or maybe he's
No,
just given
you're
the
talking about
reason.
peaceful protesting as
Yeah.
opposed to rioting.
Mm-hmm.
I am seeing things on social media that instantly makes me upset and sick that humans can treat other humans like this. And I don't put blame on the cops, and I don't put blame on rioters. I understand both sides. But what now needs to be done is a singular voice, multiple singular voices, having that strong of a voice and platform, and now implementing rules and guidelines for change. At first, it was to get these scumbag police officers all sentenced and arrested, which
Which happened.
it took 8 days. So I can understand the pain and frustration of those rioters and looters.
Yeah, and the officer who did kneel on George Floyd's neck for nearly 8 minutes, his charges were just upgraded to second-degree murder from third today. So there is a little more like justice in that area, but I mean, obviously, 8 days of no answers is going to cause riots. I mean, yeah, if they're not even in custody yet, it's just crazy.
It's a very, very sensitive topic to discuss. And as me and you being, white privileged men, so to speak, it is more sensitive to speak about civil rights. But the only reason why I would dedicate this show to speak upon this is because it's very easy to decipher what's right and wrong. It's not necessarily black or white.
Yeah, I mean, we all just get along?
No, because there's always violence in the world. There's always greed.
Well,
There's
there's
al-
always disagreement. Yeah.
there's always selfishness. The world is a very sad place. But I do believe there is more good people than bad people within the world. And that is a cause for optimism.
Of course. I mean, I would say if the world isn't completely burned down, then there's more good people. I mean, the people who are standing up right now using their voice, those people are shedding light on the situation. Those are the good people. I mean, the celebrities or the people who have been able to create uh, large donation platforms, that's been amazing. There's plenty of those activists who speak out who they're celebrities with their own platform, but they feel this is the most necessary thing to speak on right now, which, yes, it is. I agree.
To me, the saddest part of all of this, which of course a man murdered in plain sight, screaming for his mother on video, is of course the saddest part. But
Yeah.
outside of that and all the other victims, the saddest part is to see the communities destroyed, and more particular, the African American communities and business owners who are being destroyed by their own community, who have spent their lives building a business. And, I've tried building businesses. I'm currently doing it. I know how difficult it can be, especially when you're going through a pandemic where majority of us were quarantined and business dropped 60 to 70%, almost 100%, to now have everything wrecked, stolen, and looted. That is tough to watch.
Yeah, that's all foul play right there. So essentially, you're, I mean, that's just hurting yourself. You're hurting your community. These people are uninvolved in the situation. I mean, they may be just as affected as you. They may have such a strong point as you, and yet you are here destroying their property. Um, but I've also had heard rumors that where we're from, in New York, potentially is going to be rioted in the next day or two. I don't know how true it is. I keep seeing it. It's very strange. People keep sending it to me. But I did hear potentially could hit the suburbs or the suburban areas.
That could be problematic because where we live in Staten Island, uh, people kind of have a specific type of personality. And I believe they would fight violence with violence. And none of that is how you resolve a situation. You resolve situations by communication, by talking, by empathizing, by understanding, by loving. And
Yeah,
that is how you resolve.
and that is a peaceful protest. Someone that speaks up and they want to go have a conversation. They want to hear the other side, or they want to get more people to hear their side. The more people behind you, the more the government's going to listen. The more they have to listen. I mean, it's all on us. And I mean, it's nice to see everyone together. It's nice to see people donating. It's important for you to really listen to people, read, share documents,
There's
donate
too
if you
many
can.
people with too many opinions that contradict and causes conflict. And that is what's scary to me because all of those voices are not unified into one because there's thousands, millions of different voices. So, how do you resolve anything from a government standpoint?
Well, yeah, well, that's almost with anything. I mean, it's like hearsay. You heard this from there, you hear this from this source. You don't know what the heck is true, so it's like tough to open your mouth on the situation. I mean, obviously creating the Black Lives Matter page and the hashtag, that's all to kind of unify, to keep people on the same page. I mean, so in that sense, you could get unified and on the same page. I mean, the government is they're being rioted right now.
Which I, a lot of people could state martial law is in effect. This is dangerous. And I am a believer in the Second Amendment. However, I'm like Hacksaw Ridge. I believe in the Second Amendment so much, but I have never held a gun, nor do I want to shoot a gun. But I believe in the right to bear arms. And in these scenarios, I almost feel like I need to go to a gun range and learn, which is interesting.
That is very interesting.
And
So,
two, real
mm,
quick, I mean, if cities are being burned down,
mhm.
you need to control that.
If cities are being burnt down, you completely need to control that. I mean, people are the right. Yeah, I mean, you have the right to bear arms. Of course, I mean, in riot situations, I mean, I would love to have my home protected. I mean, God forbid anyone ever came into my home with a gun. I don't own a gun, so that is a problem in itself. Um, so you do see where some people could be like totally against gun laws, but in that sense, it's almost necessary if you're going to try and protect your family. Um,
I am pro guns, and
I'm
again, I've never
mhm.
held one.
I'm pro guns. I mean, I've been hunting. I've used the meat like Joe Rogan, so it's not like it was a waste. But yeah, I mean, I don't. It's not like I go to a range all the time. I don't own a gun. If I was to get one, it'd probably scare the shit out of me, and I'd need to do a ton of practice, research, and all this on it.
Look, I hope I could never have to do one of these PSAs and one of these shows to speak semi politics because I don't speak about things I don't know. But again, I know morals. That's very easy to spot out.
Mm-hmm. You
And go
and
ahead.
morals, and like we said, it is truly important. And I've thought about this all day. Really, it really is important to use your voice if you have a platform, regardless if that is 10 people, 1,000 people, or 10 million people. I mean, I just think it's important to share this type of knowledge and these thoughts. Obviously, like you said, to stop violence and to get results, we need to talk to each other. We need to work things out.
I absolutely love the Black culture and I love the community. They've shown nothing but love to me. And at the same time, my family and best friends are cops. And if I'm in trouble, I'm calling 911. So I understand the frustration on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why you will always get the same message from me. And that's if you have true love in your heart, then you know what's right and wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Obviously, sometimes judgments can be clouded, but not to your true intents. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure through all these times that going through this age of systemic racism, and obviously that's gotten frustrate. Everyone's gotten frustration with that. I mean, that's probably gotten people super angry. I mean, that's essentially why you do something, right? You had enough of something, enough is enough, and now it's time to act.
Listen, educate, act, love.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to say, man. It's been one hell of a week.
Been one hell
Monday,
of a 2020.
yeah, 2020 has been fucking wild.
let's hope in 2 weeks there are not a spike in the COVID-19 cases, right?
That's fucking important. We didn't even discuss that, but
I
yeah,
know. I just
that's
thought of it.
very problematic.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, there's like what that 2 week incubation period. God, hopefully, we don't get a spike in cases because things were
Yeah,
kind of
because
looking good.
I'm trying to take flights, you know?
Yeah,
Look,
man.
I like me foreign lands, I like me foreign cars, I like me foreign ladies. And that's where I'm trying to go. Foreign.
Foreign. I'm with you, man. I'm
Yeah.
absolutely with you. I mean, it's good to laugh, even though we were doing kind of a serious, dark episode.
Yeah, I mean,
Some sad times.
I'm off this podcast, but I tell you, I love everybody equally. It don't matter where you from, and hatred does not solve anything.
Yes, I love you guys. Make sure to use your voice, listen, read, share, donate if you can. But we love you guys, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, you keep saying guys, but I think majority of our listeners are girls. So, I love you girls.
I love you girls. I apologize for generalizing. Peace.